Pain. We all feel it, but not everyone knows what to do with it. When someone hurts you, emotionally, mentally, or through betrayal, the natural instinct is reaction. You want to defend yourself, prove your worth, expose their lies. But power doesn't live in reaction. Power lives in restraint. It lives in your ability to control yourself when someone else tries to control you. Pain is information, not identity. Let that sink in, because most people get this wrong. They go through betrayal, rejection, humiliation, heartbreak, and they become at the pain. They start seeing themselves through the wound instead of the wisdom. They wear the hurt like a name tag. Every choice, every reaction, every word begins to come from that broken place. But listen carefully. Pain was never meant to define you. It was meant to teach you. Pain is data. It's your mind and body sending signals that something or someone isn't right for you. When you get burned, it's not the flame's fault if you keep touching it. Pain shows you where the limits are. It shows you where the lessons live. But you have to separate yourself from the experience. You're not what happened to you. You're what you do next. When someone hurts you, they want to rewrite your story through the lens of your pain. They want you to internalize their actions as your worth. That's how emotional control works. But here's the truth. The moment you stop reacting, the moment you stop identifying with the pain, you take your power back. You stop being the victim and start being the observer. And when you can observe your pain without drowning in it, that's when you become untouchable. Pain is the most honest teacher you'll ever have. It doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It exposes your blind spots, your attachments, your fears. It tells you who truly values you and who only used you. But pain doesn't want you to build a home inside it. It wants you to move through it. Staying stuck in pain is emotional addiction. Growth begins when you start asking, what is this teaching me? Instead of, why did this happen to me? Let me tell you something powerful. Not all pain is punishment. Some pain is preparation. You're being reshaped, refined, stripped of weakness. The universe uses pain to build people who can't be broken. That's why it hurts so deeply, because it's carving out the space for strength. When you start viewing pain as information, you stop being afraid of it. You stop running. You face it head on. You start decoding it. You learn your emotional patterns, what triggers you, what drains you, what heals you. You start realizing pain has been guiding you toward your own evolution the whole time. But this requires emotional discipline. You must stop making pain your personality. Stop posting your pain online for sympathy. Stop talking about it to everyone who will listen. Pain doesn't need an audience. It needs understanding. When you hold your pain quietly, study it, and turn it into strategy, that's power. You want to know who loses? The person who lets their pain make them bitter, reactive, closed off. You want to know who wins? The one who uses their pain as fuel. The one who channels it into focus, strength, growth, and silence. Because silence heals. Focus transforms. Growth avenges. You are not broken. You are being upgraded. Every painful experience you've had was a lesson disguised as a storm. The pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to expose your potential. You can't build emotional armor without friction. You can't learn self-respect without disrespect. You can't master peace until you've survived chaos. So stop asking why me and start saying try me. Because when you detach from pain, you become dangerous. You stop being manipulated by it. You stop reacting out of it. You start responding with clarity. And clarity is something your enemies can't fight. They can attack your emotions, but they can't touch your awareness. Next time pain hits, remember, it's not the enemy, it's feedback. Take the information, learn the lesson, but never let it rewrite your worth. You are not the betrayal. You are not the loss. You are not the rejection. You are the strength that rose after it. Pain reveals your boundaries. Pain reveals your purpose. Pain reveals your true self, the version that doesn't depend on anyone else to feel whole. So stand tall, even when it hurts. Feel everything, but don't become everything, because pain is just a message, and you are the interpreter, not the message itself. Never react emotionally. Control is your weapon. Because the moment you lose control, you lose power. And the one who provoked you, they win without lifting a finger. People who want to manipulate you don't always use words. They use emotions. They know if they can trigger your anger, your jealousy, your fear. They can control your behavior. Emotional reaction is surrender. It's giving someone else the remote control to your state of mind. You hand them your peace, your clarity, your strength, and they press play, pause, and rewind as they please. Control, on the other hand, is lethal. It's not coldness, it's not weakness, it's strategy. It's the art of staying calm while everyone else loses their balance. When you stay in control, you send a message, I am untouchable. You show the world that your emotions serve you, not the other way around. Understand this. Reacting emotionally doesn't make you real, it makes you predictable. And predictability is the enemy of power. When people know how to push you, they own you. That's why composure is everything. It's the invisible armor that protects you from manipulation, disrespect, and chaos. The strongest people don't scream when they're disrespected, they don't explode when they're provoked, they watch, they analyze, they wait, because silence reveals more than anger ever will. You can't outplay someone who doesn't play your emotional game. Every reaction you give is data. You're teaching people how to control you. When they see what triggers you, they'll use it. When they see what calms you, they'll fake it. But when they see that you don't react, that you stay solid, unreadable, composed, you become a threat. Because they don't know what moves you anymore. Emotional control isn't about being numb, it's about being selective. You feel everything, but you choose what deserves your reaction. Not everything deserves a response. Not everyone deserves your energy. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is silence, because silence forces people to face themselves. When someone disrespects you, don't defend your worth. Let your absence speak. When someone tries to make you angry, smile and walk away. You're not avoiding confrontation, you're mastering it. Because real power doesn't react, it responds. And sometimes it doesn't even respond at all. Control also means controlling the story you tell yourself. When you get hurt, your mind starts building narratives. They don't respect me. I'm not enough. I have to prove them wrong. But none of that is truth. It's emotion. Step back. Observe your thoughts. Ask yourself, what is the fact here? Most of what makes you angry isn't the situation. It's your interpretation of it. Control your story, and you control your reality. In psychology, this is called emotional regulation. The ability to manage your internal state regardless of what's happening externally. It's not suppression. It's mastery. You train your nervous system to stay steady under pressure. You train your voice to stay calm when challenged. You train your body to remain still when it wants to react. That's how leaders are made. Because power is never about being the loudest. It's about being the most centered. The calmest person in the room owns the room. The one who controls their emotions controls the outcome. Every single time. When you learn this, your life changes. People who once had power over you, through guilt, through anger, through love, lose their grip. You stop chasing validation. You stop arguing with fools. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop needing to prove anything. That's freedom. Control makes you unpredictable. And unpredictability makes you dangerous. Because no one knows your next move. They can't anticipate you. They can't manipulate you. You become a mystery. And mystery is power. So next time someone tries to provoke you, breathe. Don't speak. Don't react. Watch. Listen. Let them drown in their own chaos. Because once you master your emotions, their games no longer work. You don't need to win the argument. You win by not entering it. Control is calmness under pressure. It's the discipline to pause when your ego wants to explode. It's the maturity to choose peace over proving a point. It's the awareness that not every battle is worth fighting, especially the ones meant to drain you. Remember this. Your reaction is someone else's reward. Don't give it to them. Keep your peace locked. Guard your energy like it's gold, because it is. You're not emotionless. You're evolved. You've learned that composure is your greatest defense and restraint is your sharpest weapon, because anyone can throw punches. But very few can stand still and smile while the storm rages, untouched, unbothered, and in total control. Never react emotionally. Because control isn't just your weapon, it's your victory. Respect doesn't mean access. Let that line settle deep. Because this is where most people lose their peace. Confusing respect with permission. You can respect someone and still keep your distance. You can forgive them and still not let them back in. Respect is about how you carry yourself. Access is about what you allow others to touch. And those two things are not the same. Some people mistake kindness for weakness. They believe that if you're respectful, you must be open. If you're polite, you must be available. But boundaries aren't disrespect. They are proof that you value yourself. Respect is what you give to everyone. Access is what you give to the few who earn it. Never feel guilty for protecting your energy. The wrong people will call it cold. They'll call it selfish. But the truth is, they just missed the control they once had. They were never interested in your peace. They were addicted to your availability. When you pull that away, they call it attitude. But it's not attitude, it's awareness. When you start setting boundaries, you'll lose people. And that's the point. Boundaries filter the fake from the real. They show who values you for you and who values what you give them. If your presence is only appreciated when it's convenient, you're not respected, you're used. Respect doesn't mean staying where you're disrespected. Access must be earned, not assumed. You don't owe anyone unlimited entry into your life just because you know them, love them, or once cared for them. You have a right to decide who gets your time, your attention, and your energy. Every person in your circle should bring peace, not chaos. Growth, not guilt. Support, not sabotage. Here's the truth. Real power is quiet distance. You don't have to announce your boundaries. You don't need to explain who's blocked, who's ignored, or who's no longer welcome. Just move differently. Silence speaks. Absence teaches louder than confrontation. When people lose access to you, they start remembering your value. Let them. Don't confuse emotional familiarity with emotional safety. Just because someone knows your story doesn't mean they deserve a role in your next chapter. Some people are lessons, not lifelong guests. Keeping them close because of shared history only slows your evolution. You can love people and still walk away. You can care and still close the door. And don't fall into the trap of over-explaining your boundaries. People who truly respect you won't need a detailed reason. They'll simply honor your space. But those who argue, guilt trip, or manipulate you after you say no, those are the exact people who needed to lose access. Respect means treating others with decency. It means not lowering your standards, not retaliating with hate, not speaking from bitterness, but it doesn't mean letting them back in to hurt you again. Forgiveness doesn't mean reunion. Growth doesn't mean return. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to keep the door closed. Your energy is a currency. Stop spending it where there's no return. Stop giving discounts to people who never paid full price for your loyalty. You're not obligated to be available just because someone demands it. Your peace is not public property. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. In this life, you will meet people who only respect you when they need you. The moment you stop giving, they stop valuing. But don't chase validation. The ones meant to stay will meet you at your level of peace, not drag you back into chaos. Start auditing your circle. Ask yourself who drains me, who distracts me, who grows with me, and who just watches me. Then act accordingly. If someone constantly brings stress, distance is not cruelty, it's clarity. Respect doesn't mean letting everyone back in. It means handling even those who hurt you with calm, but never again with access. You don't have to hate them. You just have to outgrow them. That's emotional maturity, when you can say, I wish you well, but you can't sit here anymore. When you start living this way, everything changes. Your peace gets louder, your focus sharpens, your confidence returns, because your environment shapes your energy, and when you protect your access, you protect your growth. So remember this, respect is how you treat them. Access is what you allow them. Keep your standards high, your circle small, and your boundaries unshakable. Not everyone deserves to walk with you. Respect doesn't mean access. You can stand tall, stay kind, and still keep your gate locked. Because peace isn't found in who you let in. It's found in who you finally keep out. Silence speaks louder than confrontation. Most people don't understand this. They think power is in words. They think strength means always responding, defending, proving. But real strength, the kind that shakes people, is found in silence. Because silence is not weakness. Silence is control. It's composure. It's the sound of power thinking instead of reacting. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct is to fight back, to make them understand what they did wrong, to confront, to argue. But confrontation rarely changes people. It only drains you. Because the kind of person who disrespects you isn't looking for truth. They're looking for control. And when you engage, you hand it to them. Silence, on the other hand, confuses them. It disarms them. It starves them of what they crave most, your reaction. Your reaction is their fuel. Your silence is their starvation. When you stop giving them emotional energy, you cut their control line, you take your power back. There's a reason silence is feared. It forces people to face themselves. When you stop responding, they can't distract themselves with your anger. They're left alone with their guilt, their insecurities, their emptiness. That's why your silence screams louder than any confrontation ever could. In a world addicted to noise, silence is dominance. Everyone can talk, few can stay still, but silence is not about running away, it's about rising above. It's about understanding that some battles aren't worth fighting, because they only pull you down to a level beneath your dignity. When you remain silent, you're not avoiding conflict, you're choosing peace over chaos, you're choosing mastery over reaction. Here's the truth. Not every situation deserves a response. Some people want drama, not resolution. They don't want to understand you. They want to provoke you. They want to see you lose control, so they can say, see, you're the problem. Don't give them that satisfaction. Keep your calm. Keep your silence. Let their words echo into emptiness. Silence doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've outgrown the need to prove your worth. It means you've learned that not everyone deserves an explanation. You know your truth, and that's enough. The loudest one in the room is usually the weakest. The one who stays silent has already won the argument before it even began. Psychologically, silence is powerful because it triggers uncertainty. When you don't react, people start to question themselves. They replay their actions. They wonder what you're thinking. They try to read your energy, and that's when the power shifts from them to you. Silence makes them uncomfortable because it removes control. They can't manipulate what they can't predict. But silence is not just about others, it's also for you. Every time you stay silent instead of reacting, you're training your discipline. You're teaching your emotions to wait, to observe, to think. You're sharpening your mind, because silence creates space. And in that space you gain clarity. You see people for who they really are. You notice what words can't hide. When you confront in anger, you miss the details. You speak too soon, you expose your emotions. But when you stay silent, you watch patterns, you collect information. You learn how people move, how they lie, how they react to your calm. You become strategic instead of emotional. And strategy always beats impulse. Silence also protects your dignity. When you argue with fools, you look like one of them. When you respond to disrespect, you validate it. When you explain your worth, you lower it. Never let anyone drag you into a war that doesn't build you. Your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. There's an ancient truth. Lions don't respond to barking dogs. The lion's silence doesn't mean fear. It means confidence. Because when you know who you are, you don't need to roar for attention. You move in silence and the world notices. Sometimes the best revenge is none. No clapback, no post, no confrontation. Just distance, just peace, just success. Let them wonder why you stopped talking. Let them replay every word they said, trying to find where they lost you. That's the sound of silence working for you. Your silence isn't empty. It's full of meaning. It says, I'm done explaining. I'm done proving. I'm done giving energy to what drains me. It says, I've learned to respond with peace, not anger. It says, you no longer have that kind of access to me. So next time someone tries to trigger you, pause. Breathe. Smile. Say nothing. Let your silence do the talking. Because silence doesn't mean you lost. It means you decided the conversation was beneath you. It means you value your peace more than being right. It means you know that your calm is your crown. Silence speaks volumes. It says everything words can't. And in a world where everyone's shouting to be heard, the one who stays silent controls everything. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates of self-respect. You need to understand that clearly. Because too many people confuse boundaries with barriers. They think protecting your peace means pushing people away. But it's not about isolation. It's about regulation. Boundaries aren't built from fear. They're built from awareness. They're not meant to lock people out. They're meant to control who gets in, how long they stay, and what they can touch. A wall says, I don't trust anyone. A boundary says, I trust myself to decide. When you build walls, you live in defense. When you build boundaries, you live in discipline. There's a difference. Boundaries are not punishment, they're protection. They are how you teach others to treat you, and how you remind yourself that your energy, time, and emotions are sacred. Every time you allow someone to overstep without consequence, you teach them that your peace is negotiable. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you silently agree to your own exhaustion. But every time you hold the line, even when it's uncomfortable, you reinforce your value. Boundaries are self-respect in action. People will test you. They will call you distant, selfish, or hard to love. Don't take it personally. They're just frustrated that the old version of you, the one who tolerated their disrespect, no longer exists. Growth threatens people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. Let them be uncomfortable. That's not your problem anymore. Boundaries are clarity. They separate what you allow from what you refuse. They make your world smaller but stronger. You stop chasing approval and start prioritizing peace. You stop explaining and start deciding. You stop needing people to understand your limits because real ones will never test them. Think of boundaries as gates, not walls. Gates open and close with purpose. You choose who enters. You choose who leaves. You don't shut the world out. You curate it. You allow in people who bring peace, love, and growth, and keep out those who bring drama, chaos, and manipulation. That's not selfish, that's smart. Setting boundaries isn't just about protecting yourself from others. It's also about protecting others from the parts of you that react when you're drained, disrespected, or overextended. When you honor your limits, you show up calmer, kinder, and more consistent. Boundaries aren't only a shield, they're structure. And yes, boundaries cost you. They cost you relationships that were built on convenience, not respect. They cost you opportunities that demanded your silence instead of your truth. They cost you comfort, because saying no will make you the villain in stories told by people who couldn't use you anymore. But that's fine. Let them tell their version. You know yours. Boundaries are not about control. They're about accountability. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Every ignored boundary is an invitation for disrespect. Every enforced boundary is a declaration of self-worth. You don't need to shout it, post it, or justify it. Just live it. Understand this. People who truly love and respect you will never be offended by your boundaries. They'll appreciate them. Because healthy people recognize that structure creates safety. It builds trust. It ensures that connection is mutual, not one-sided. Boundaries make relationships cleaner, not colder. The moment you stop feeling guilty for protecting yourself, you start to feel powerful. You realize that peace doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling access to yourself. You can't save everyone, you can't please everyone, and you can't explain everything. You are allowed to choose peace over pleasing. Here's what most people miss. Boundaries are a reflection of identity. If you don't know who you are, you can't know what's off limits. When you strengthen your sense of self, your boundaries form naturally. Because clarity eliminates confusion. You stop explaining why. You simply enforce. Psychologically, boundaries are the core of self-respect. They tell your subconscious, I matter. My time matters. My emotions matter. And the more you live by that truth, the less you tolerate disrespect in any form, even subtle. You start to notice energy that doesn't match yours. You start to withdraw from people who drain instead of contribute. That's awareness, not arrogance. So stop apologizing for drawing the line. Stop watering down your standards to make others comfortable. Stop breaking yourself to keep others whole. You are not cold for choosing calm. You are not rude for choosing rest. You are not mean for choosing distance. Remember, walls keep love out. Boundaries protect love, starting with self-love. They don't close your heart, they guard it. They don't block connection, they filter it. The right people will never need to climb your walls. They'll walk through your gates with respect. Boundaries are freedom. They allow you to move through life with peace, purpose, and power. They remind you that saying no doesn't make you difficult. It makes you decisive. That silence doesn't make you detached. It makes you centered. That distance doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you started caring about yourself, finally. So hold your ground, guard your gate, speak your truth quietly, but enforce it loudly through your actions. Because boundaries are not walls. They are gates of self-respect. And when you protect that gate, you protect everything that makes you powerful. Forgiveness is for your freedom, not their comfort. Read that again, slowly. Because too many people get forgiveness twisted. They think it's about excusing someone else's actions. They think it's about letting people off the hook. But forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. It's the art of cutting emotional chains that keep you tied to what hurt you. Forgiveness doesn't say what you did was okay. It says what you did will no longer control me. It's not weakness, it's release. It's not a handshake of peace. It's a declaration of independence. Because the truth is, holding on to anger doesn't punish the person who wronged you, it poisons you. Unforgiveness is self-inflicted pain. You carry their offense like a wound that never heals. You replay it in your mind, analyze it, refeel it, and every time you do, you reopen the scar. Meanwhile, the one who hurt you sleeps peacefully. You keep bleeding from a battle they already forgot. That's not strength. That's self-destruction. Forgiveness is your decision to stop letting the past own your peace. It's you saying, I refuse to give more energy to what's already over. You forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Forgiveness doesn't change the past. It changes you. It turns pain into wisdom and anger into strength. But understand this. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. You can forgive someone and still never speak to them again. You can release the bitterness without reopening the door. Some people are lessons, not lifelong companions. Forgiveness doesn't require reunion, it requires release. The hardest part about forgiveness is that it feels unfair. You think letting go means they win. But in reality, forgiveness is the final move in taking your power back. You're not letting them escape justice. You're letting yourself escape the emotional prison they built inside you. That's what makes forgiveness powerful. It's the decision to rise, not to react. Forgiveness is maturity. It's choosing peace over revenge, wisdom over ego, growth over resentment. It's realizing that hate keeps you connected to what hurt you. Every time you think about it, you keep reliving it. Forgiveness is the moment you decide, no more. It's emotional detachment disguised as grace. Psychologically, forgiveness rewires your nervous system. It breaks the stress loop. When you stay angry, your body keeps producing the same chemicals, adrenaline, cortisol, that prepare you for conflict. You stay tense, alert, ready to fight. Forgiveness turns that system off. It brings calm, focus, and relief. It's not just spiritual, it's scientific healing. People often ask, but how can I forgive when they never apologized? You don't need their apology. Their accountability isn't your permission slip to heal. Waiting for them to take responsibility keeps your peace hostage. Sometimes closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you deciding that your mental health matters more than your pride. Forgiveness doesn't make you naive. It makes you free. It means you've outgrown the desire for revenge. You no longer seek validation from seeing them suffer. You've learned that karma doesn't need your help. Life has its own balance system. What people sow, they eventually reap. Your job is to move on, not to monitor their punishment. Forgiveness is quiet strength. It's not public. It's not dramatic. It happens privately, in your heart, in your thoughts, in your decision to stop replaying the story. It's when you finally say, I'm done letting this memory run my life. And when you do that, you feel lighter, more focused, more powerful, because your energy returns to you. Remember this, forgiveness doesn't mean trust. You can forgive someone and still choose to protect yourself. Forgiveness heals your heart. Boundaries protect it. Don't confuse the two. Forgive to free yourself, not to reopen the wound. There's a certain peace that comes when you stop needing apologies. When you stop trying to make others understand how much they hurt you. Some people will never see it, never care, never change, and that's okay. Your healing doesn't depend on their awareness, it depends on your decision to stop carrying what's not yours anymore. Forgiveness is power because it breaks the cycle. Hurt people until someone decides to heal. When you forgive, you interrupt the pattern. You become the one who ends the generational pain, the one who refuses to let bitterness dictate their future. That's not softness, that's mastery. And the moment you truly forgive, you'll realize something powerful. You never needed their apology to move forward. You only needed your permission. The past will still exist, but it will no longer control your emotions. You'll remember what happened, but it won't sting anymore. That's how you know you're free. So don't forgive to make them comfortable. Don't forgive to look kind. Don't forgive because others expect it. Forgive because your soul needs peace more than your ego needs validation. Forgive because your future deserves energy your past doesn't deserve anymore. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's saying, I'm done letting what broke me define me. It's walking away with peace in your chest and fire in your purpose. Because forgiveness was never about making them feel better. It was about setting yourself up free. Turn hurt into purpose, not revenge. That line sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest truths to live by. When someone breaks you, betrays you, or disrespects you, your first instinct isn't peace, it's payback. You want them to feel the pain they gave you. You want them to see your scars and regret every word, every action, every wound they caused. But here's the thing. Revenge doesn't heal you. It binds you. It keeps you emotionally tied to the very person who hurt you. Pain has two paths, destruction or transformation. One consumes you, the other shapes you. When you choose revenge, you feed your anger. When you choose purpose, you feed your strength. Pain, when transformed, becomes fuel. It's the raw energy that builds resilience, ambition, and drive. Every great comeback story starts with a heartbreak, a betrayal, or a failure. The difference is, some use their pain to destroy others, while others use it to redefine themselves. Revenge feels satisfying in the moment. It gives you a temporary rush, the illusion of power. But that satisfaction fades fast, and when it's gone, you're left empty. Because revenge doesn't restore what was lost. It multiplies the darkness. It keeps you living in reaction, not creation. You're not leading your life. Your pain is. And as long as your focus is on hurting them back, they still control your story. Purpose, on the other hand, is liberation. It turns pain into direction. It says, I won't let this break me. I'll let it build me. It's what separates those who stay stuck from those who rise stronger. Purpose takes the energy of what hurt you and channels it into something meaningful. It might push you to build a business, improve yourself, chase your dreams, or help others avoid the pain you went through. Purpose transforms your suffering into strength that outlasts revenge. Here's a truth few admit. Revenge isn't about justice. It's about validation. It's the wounded ego saying, I need them to see my worth. But you don't need revenge to prove your value. You prove your worth by rising above it. You prove it by becoming unshakable, by succeeding quietly, by glowing in ways they can't dim. The best revenge is no revenge, it's self-mastery. It's becoming someone they can no longer reach. When you turn hurt into purpose, you take back your power. You stop reacting and start directing. You stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start saying, what can I learn from this? That question shifts everything. It turns wounds into wisdom and pain into perspective. It turns heartbreak into hunger and betrayal into bravery. That's the alchemy of pain, turning what was meant to destroy you into the reason you rise. Pain can be your greatest teacher. It strips away illusion. It shows you who you really are, what truly matters, and who deserves a place in your future. It teaches you patience, boundaries, and emotional strength. But only if you let it. Only if you stop feeding your pain and start learning from it. Every hurt carries a hidden lesson, and every lesson can lead you toward your purpose. But you must stop looking backward for justice and start looking forward for growth. Think about the people who doubted you, betrayed you, or abandoned you. They thought they ended you, but that pain can become your ignition. Let it fuel your progress. Let it sharpen your focus. Build something so strong, so powerful, so undeniable that they fade into silence. Don't waste your energy plotting revenge. Build your peace so loud that their chaos can't touch it. Psychologically, purpose heals faster than revenge. Neuroscience shows that when you shift focus from retaliation to self-growth, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, chemicals of motivation and satisfaction. You literally start rewiring your brain for strength instead of anger. That's not weakness, that's control. It's you mastering the emotional game most people lose. Your purpose will outlast your pain. The one who hurt you may forget what they did, but you can make it unforgettable by turning it into something powerful. Let your success tell the story. Let your peace be the answer. Let your growth be the echo that follows them for the rest of their lives. You don't need revenge when your evolution speaks louder. Remember, revenge looks backward, purpose moves forward. Revenge wants to destroy what broke you. Purpose builds something greater from the ashes. Revenge is fueled by ego. Purpose is fueled by vision. And vision lasts. Vision heals. Vision creates legacies. When you choose purpose, you win without needing to prove anything. So when you're hurt, don't ask, how do I get even? Ask, how do I get better? Don't let bitterness become your identity. Don't let pain make you small. Rise so high that even your silence stings. Rise so gracefully that those who tried to ruin you end up teaching you resilience. Turn your pain into your mission. Let it push you into becoming someone unrecognizable, stronger, wiser, calmer, unstoppable. Because when you rise from pain with purpose, you don't just win. You inspire. You become the proof that pain can birth greatness. Turn hurt into purpose, not revenge. Because revenge ends stories, but purpose rewrites them. And when you turn your wounds into wisdom, you don't just heal, you lead. The best payback is elevation. Rise so high they can't reach you. When people hurt you, betray you, or try to bring you down, your instinct screams for revenge. You want them to see your pain. You want them to know what it feels like. But here's the truth. Chasing revenge keeps you small. Rising above them makes you untouchable. Elevation isn't about ego. It's about evolution. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right. You don't rise to impress anyone. You rise to outgrow what tried to break you. You rise because you refuse to stay at the level where they left you. You rise because you're done fighting in places that no longer deserve your energy. Understand this. When you try to get even, you stay even. You stay on their level, reacting, defending, explaining. But when you rise, you silence everything. Your success becomes the echo of every wound they caused. Your growth becomes the mirror they can't stand to face. And your peace? That's the loudest revenge there is. Elevation is the art of turning pain into performance. It's taking every insult, every betrayal, every rejection, and using it as fuel. When someone disrespects you, you don't respond with rage. You respond with results. You outwork, outlast, and outgrow. You build yourself so strong that the same people who laughed at you now whisper your name in silence. But here's the part no one tells you. Rising high means walking alone for a while. Growth isolates you, because not everyone can handle your new altitude. The air gets thinner at the top. Fewer people can breathe up there. And that's okay. You weren't meant to carry everyone with you. You were meant to climb. The real payback is when they realize they no longer have access. You don't block them with words. You block them with evolution. You don't argue. You transform. You don't seek their attention. You outgrow their relevance. The version of you they hurt no longer exists, and that's the sweetest silence of all. Every time you feel pain, remember, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Life is not breaking you down. It's building your foundation. The ones who hurt you are part of your training. They taught you who to trust, what to protect, and how to move. Use that pain wisely. Use it to sharpen your focus, strengthen your boundaries, and master your emotions. Because emotion-driven people stay stuck, purpose-driven people rise. When you elevate, something changes inside you. You stop needing to prove anything. You stop chasing apologies. You stop explaining your worth. You stop replaying what they did. Instead, you start building, quietly, consistently, powerfully. You replace anger with discipline. You replace bitterness with success. And that's when the shift happens. They fade while you rise. Understand this. People who try to destroy you always expect you to crumble. They never expect you to rise in silence. They never expect you to turn that pain into focus. So when you do, it stings. Because your peace exposes their chaos. Your growth highlights their stagnation. Your discipline reminds them of what they lack. That's the real revenge, turning their betrayal into your transformation. Rising above doesn't mean you forget. It means you no longer carry it. It means their actions lose power over your emotions. It means you no longer waste your energy proving to the blind what they refuse to see. You rise because you've learned that the greatest statement is your stability. Nothing shakes someone more than watching you thrive after they tried to break you. Your silence becomes a statement. Your distance becomes a lesson. Your progress becomes the message. That's elevation. Not shouting, not showing off, not clapping back, but mastering yourself so deeply that nothing external controls your peace again. Psychologically, elevation rewires your mind. When you shift from revenge to self-mastery, you activate the part of your brain responsible for long-term focus and reward. You stop living off temporary emotion and start building lasting satisfaction. That's why people who rise high live lighter. They've detached from the weight of resentment. Remember, you don't climb by fighting in the mud. You climb by refusing to stay dirty. Every second you spend explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you is energy wasted. Let your elevation explain it instead. You owe no closure to those who brought chaos. Your success will handle that, so keep building in silence. Let your results talk. Let your peace glow. Let your focus offend them. Because when you're elevated, their opinions become irrelevant. When you rise, their voices fade. They can't reach what's above them. They can only watch it shine. Rise with purpose, rise with calm, rise without bitterness, because your power lies in being unreachable, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The higher you go, the smaller their noise becomes. The best payback isn't proving them wrong. It's showing them they no longer matter. It's living a life so full, so free, so focused that their existence no longer triggers you. That's elevation, that's mastery. So don't waste your time plotting revenge. Build your legacy instead. Build your peace. Build your life so high that even if they try, they can't reach you. The best payback is elevation. Rise so high they can't reach you. Not to hurt them, but to show yourself how unstoppable you truly are.